Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is Baston Slot, and tonight we're going to take a look at an upcoming dinosaur game which I think has slid under the radar a little bit. I did talk about it briefly last year in my top upcoming dinosaur games video, but it's coming out this year, 2020, and it looks awesome, so I really want to do a slightly more in-depth and focused preview to let you guys know what you're getting into and hopefully convince some people, go wishlist it and get involved with the community and all that kind of nonsense. So, I would love to show you a nice big fancy version of that logo, but I couldn't find a big fancy version of that logo. This is Dinosaur Fossil Hunter. The name gets straight to the point. What we're going to do is we're going to go through the information about the game on a very basic level, along with a couple of screenshots, and then there are two different videos released for the game. One a cinematic, but one also a gameplay trailer, and we're going to watch both of those and pick them apart a little bit as well. So, let's get started. So on a fundamental level, what is Dinosaur Fossil Hunter, in case the name didn't give it away? Dinosaur Fossil Hunter is a simulator game where you play as a paleontologist, exploring different lands and searching for dinosaur fossils. I am editing as I go here. Search, dig, study uncovered fossils and prepare the skeletons to learn about extinct species and build your own museum. Very exciting! Hit the road to search for fossils of extinct species that once ruled the earth. Travel through hostile lands and discover mysteries of depths of the desert. Use your truck to switch between sites. Just because it's badly written, right, doesn't mean the game is bad. Let's just get that out of the way right now. Gameplay. Collecting fossils is not that easy, especially if you have to dig it by yourself. If you think that all you have to do is find the right area, then you are wrong. It's just the beginning. Use your truck and dynamite to get rid of obstacles. Use your shovel and your pickaxe to dig bones. But watch out, they're very fragile. I don't know why I'm doing the voices, let's just roll with it. Finally then, build your own museum. You've dug all these bones up, what are you going to do with them? You're going to build that bloody museum. After finding an interesting spot and digging out those precious fossils, it's time to customize your museum. Arrange the interior, grow plants and decorate the building with various displays. Design your diorama showing prehistoric scenes. That's very cool. Choose all elements of the set from small plants to rocks and even the type of ground. Arrange dinosaurs to create thrilling and dynamic scenes that will make them nearly come back to life in the imagination of your visitors. Put some finishing touches and now you're a truly brilliant custodian of your own private museum. Sounds cool, right? So on a fundamental level, the game is going to send you around the world, you're going to drive about, you're going to force your way down to the dig site using tools and dynamite and stuff, you're going to uncover the fossils, you're going to have to, knock them loose and do paleontology things, and then you're going to take those fossils back and run your own museum. On a fundamental gameplay loop kind of idea, that's a very cool idea, which I'm very excited about. What we're going to do now is we're going to check out the two trailers, see if we can get any more information and kind of just have fun with it, really. We're going to start off with the cinematic trailer here, a little bit less interesting because it's not gameplay, but hopefully we can get some ideas as to what the game is going to let us do. I'm going to shut up for this. I know, rarity, let you guys enjoy it and then we'll come through and we'll pick it apart a little bit. Okay, I know it's just a cinematic trailer, but I get quite excited watching things like that. Very sexually excited. No, okay, but I think that trailer does a very good job of showing basically what the gameplay loops are going to be like in this game. What are we going to be doing on a minute-to-minute basis? So let's go through again and just pick out what we can notice. We're not going to focus on this one too much. We will be focusing on the gameplay trailer, but let's hop back in. So basically, right, so first approach is on foot. By the way, just one thing I'm excited about this is I kind of just want to be Alan Grant from the start of Jurassic Park. That's really all I want in life, generally speaking, so hopefully this is the game that's going to let us finally do that. Anyway, so the guy goes out, he's exploring on foot, which makes a lot of sense. It seems you are going to have to initially explore on foot. Obviously, if you're driving around in a big old Jeep, it's going to be quite hard to spot fossils or even potential fossil sites. It then seems we'll have a marking system, some designation, so we know, let's say we're given like an open world, of some description, like a level, like a open level. You can walk around it, you go, I see a dinosaur. How exciting. You plant down your flag, and then when you hop in the Jeep later with all your tools and stuff, you know exactly where to park up. And that seems to be what's going on here. He marks the point with a flag, turns up in the Jeep. The Jeep, of course, has all the loot in the back. It does seem that we're working on our own. We don't have like a crew with us, so you are going to need a Jeep to help you out. Then you've got to dig up the fossil using tools, and look at that beauty. Isn't it a little stunner? Have that little stunner. So you're going to uncover the fossil. You're then going to have to, what we don't really see here, is remove that fossil safely from the ground as well. This fossil is delicate, you have to find it, you have to like loosen the texture around it, you know, so you can lift it up in one big chunk with the rock contained. And as we've seen in some of the screenshots and stuff, you will also have to then, as this dude is doing here, chisel away and very carefully break down the rock around the fossil. Of course, you don't want to break the fossil itself. It's a very delicate process, a very skilled process that paleontologists go through. But releasing the fossil from the rock is going to be part of the gameplay. And then it's just, yeah, there it is. There's this little private museum and this gorgeous ceratopsid standing in the background, and that's about it. You know, that seems to be the basics of what we're going to be doing. Get to a dig site, mark the dig site, go back to the dig site, dig up dinosaurs, release the dinosaurs, build a museum. Essentially, release the dinosaurs? That's a very different game. Release the bones from the rock. Put them in a museum, stuff like that. And it seems the museum bit is going to be a little bit more in-depth as well. And if you're curious about that museum bit, which for me, I know I am, very excited, build your own museum is always a very exciting sentence. Fortunately, the gameplay trailer focuses basically entirely on the museum building, so we can check that out right now. Right, there we go. What's all this? Nonsense. Okay, so very, very exciting. I think you'll all agree. So we didn't really see much beyond that. The description did mention you can make dioramas and stuff like that. I think we'll be able to combine fossils of different dinosaurs together. And we did get a little glimpse of how that is going to work. So at the start, they're putting down their ornithomimus, right? They've got two, you can see at the bottom, we've got two different skeletons. We're only using the ornithomimus for this very clearly, but they've got access to the Allosaurus and they've got access to the ornithomimus. And it seems that the ornithomimus, so you can kind of see here, it's lots of different poses as they're putting it down. They've clearly got a slider, maybe it's that over there, it doesn't look like it, but they're scrolling through something and they're picking different poses. It's standing straight like that, it's kind of like bending further forward, it's just standing sort of rearing up a little bit. You can choose the pose that you put the dinosaurs down, and it puts it down in a very simple way. We can see here we've got the decoration setup comes up instantly. That's all the different ground textures you can use to make these dioramas interesting. And then they go back and they add another ornithomimus, so they just clicked it there. And I loved this bit. So you want to put the second dinosaur in, but that's too small. But you put it in, and if there's a clipping between the two displays, as we can see here, when the ornithomimus goes in the right pose, and you can rotate it and move it around and all that, it kind of just naturally expands the museum area instantly, which I think is pretty cool. They picked a ground texture, and then they started adding a bunch of different rocks. And although this may not seem like a big deal, this was actually really cool, because what they were doing was resizing the rocks as they went. You could see them getting smaller. I'll just play it. You can see the rocks, not these ones, but in a second. Yeah, right there, you just saw it. They're getting bigger and smaller, and they do this several times. That one there, they can rotate, they can size them up, they can size them down. It actually looks like we're going to have a surprisingly high amount of creative control when it comes to building these really cool fossil displays. You know, if you were so inclined, which I think most of us will be, we'll be able to build these displays to represent the kind of environments those dinosaurs would have lived in the first place. You can see them expand the display in general right there, add a few more rocks in, lots of different, there's not just big rocks, there's like ground texture that comes up. It all looks really natural, and as long as you put a few in, it looks realistic, I would say personally. I think it looks great. We've got some plants, twigs and stuff like that. There's a big old log there on the left. I love a big log. I seriously love a big log. I'm very excited by the big log. And then we've got some general foliage as well. Again, lots of options though. Lots of different options there to make these as realistic as possible. And bearing in mind, this is several months at least before the game comes out. There's every chance we'll get even more than what we're seeing right here. I'd love some water, for example. To be able to bring water into these would be very, very cool. Or like height in one dinosaur higher than the other. Maybe like attack poses and stuff like that, you know, like representing the very famous Velociraptor Protoceratops. And there you go, that's a nice little look at it. So there are the ornithomimosuses striding through this rocky, grassy outcrop, and that's the room of the museum. That's about it, folks. That's it. It looks really cool. I'm genuinely really excited. Plus, this is where I should have got the logo from, if I thought about it. There you go, beautiful. Dinosaur Fossil Hunter. The game has been in development for at least 2 years. There is an alpha trailer of this knocking back to around 2018. Looks a little bit messier back there. The logo is awful. This is a much better logo, even if I don't think it's a great logo. But, sorry. But, yeah, it's been knocking around for a little while. The release date is set to 2020. We don't have specifics on that, but it is currently listed on Steam. So if you go onto Steam, you can wishlist the game right there. It's been in my wishlist for about a year, if not more. So hopefully lots more people get in there. I think it helps with this kind of thing. You know, indie development is hard. It costs money. You have to sacrifice to, you know, make it happen. And I think lots of wish lists and hype around the game helps people push over that line. You know, they know the game's going to sell. They can focus on finishing it and getting it out there in good quality. So I'm very hopeful that's what happens. This is a really cool looking game. Exactly the kind of dinosaur game I really want to play right now. It's unlike anything else out there, which I think is important. Lots of dinosaur games are very similar. In a lot of ways, you're either park builders or you play the dinosaur and you wander around. We don't really get much else outside of that. So this is a really cool, unique take on the whole thing, which looks to be super realistic as well. You collect like individual bits of these bones and stick them together, and it's going to be really cool. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you are interested in the game, do check out their link down below. I'm going to post a link straight to their Steam website in the description down below. Throw me a like as well if you're a cool cat and kitten. No, I'm not doing that. Throw me a like though if you enjoyed this video and this preview and you enjoyed this kind of thing in general. There's a couple of pretty cool dinosaur games on the way and animal games that I might like to take a look at, but we'll have to wait and see. Either way, I'm bloody excited. Hopefully you guys are too. Let me know what you think about this game in the comment section down below. I'll see you lovely folks next time. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video or you want to help support me a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. There's a link in the description down below. Every little really does help in times like these, but it's not at all expected, and by just watching the video you've already helped me out massively, and it makes you a pretty cool person, so well done you. Thanks for joining me either way, I'll see you next time.